Okay, so you've finished off day one, right? And how was it? Was it tough? Did you have to struggle with it? Day one is usually pretty good. People go through that. I hopefully you kind of saw some trends as we get into going further into day two, three, four, five. You'll get some sense of what you're looking for as far as a discovery process and then ultimately clarity. So we'll talk a little bit more of that because there's this day two, you're going to be discovering a lot of possibilities. This is what we call the signature question. These are the experiences we're going to, day two and three, we're going to look at the experiences in all aspects of your life. I've broken your life down into 6 components, and each of those with 3 subcomponents that you can go through and begin to brainstorm and then ultimately get clarity around what does your life look like in each of those areas. Okay, so that's where we're going to go here in day two. But hopefully you've got a good list of unique reasons, whether you got to the unique reason, your why, your life purpose. Don't get discouraged if you didn't come to the answer, because I think as you go through the remainder of the days, that will become more and more obvious and clear to you as you go. So day two is actually one that's I'm so excited about because if anything were possible, this is kind of this, as we call it, the signature question. If anything were possible, what kind of future could you imagine? And when I say possible, we're really talking about anything. It's anything. We all tend to put ourselves in a box, and that box ends up being basically defined by our history. Unfortunately, our history in many cases could be an accident. It could be things that have come into our lives that weren't of our own intention, but they ended up somehow defining who we are and where we're going. And I'm asking you to step back from that. If anything were possible, and possible is extremely important here. As soon as we say, I would love to have financial independence, then we start, or something of that nature. I would love to have 6-pack abs and have my health. You immediately start looking at where you're at, what you've done in the past, right? And you begin to qualify and shrink that down to where you won't feel so bad that you're where you're at. Okay? I'm going to ask you to escape that box for just a little bit of time here, maybe an hour or 2 hours. Get away, get rid of the distractions, and begin to explore if anything were possible. But possibility isn't, I understand exactly how to do it. We'll talk about transformation, alignment, and plans once you get clarity on your unique reason, vision, and value. But for now, we're really going to talk about possibilities, the future. Not look at what I have, not look at what's in front of me, not look at what I did in the past, but actually look at, if anything were possible, what would my ideal day look like? What could I imagine? Again, you have total freedom to imagine, to dream. It's not a pipe dream because the reality of it is you're much more capable than you even realize if you're willing to embrace possibilities, because your creative mind is a gift that probably no other creature on earth has been given, that you can create and envision things that don't even exist. Okay? So we want to break through those limiting beliefs in day two. Um, and that's really it. Let me talk about just some of the questions, and I won't go through the entire workbook because it's 6 pages. But describe your overall health. In what activities would you be engaging if anything were possible? Describe your energy, your endurance level. These are all in your vision discovery workbook for these 2 days. So all of those things. What would describe your ideal self? How would you be happy? Would you be engaging? Maybe you just want to be peaceful and have a monk-like lifestyle. I don't, it's not mine to judge. This is really you. Just like your unique reason, this is your unique vision. This is the journey, the things that in your heart you're seeking. The interesting thing is you're seeking those experiences because experiences help you align with that identity. That identity being your unique reason and your unique value, which we'll talk about in the last 2 days. But the kind of the thing that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, whether it's the house you live in, whether it's the office, whether it's a job, whether it's the people you surround yourself with, whether it's the emotions you're feeling, those are all ways of seeking to validate on a daily basis your identity. Okay? So we can talk about who your life partner is. We're going to explore, if anything were possible, what would that look like if everything's perfect. It's again, put down, if you are where you want to be in any of these areas, feel free to put that down. But if it's something, if anything were possible, it would look differently, then this is where you put it. Because if you limit yourself to what is in any of these areas, just pretend like if you write it down, it'll happen. And if you don't write it down, it won't. So put as many possibilities as you can as you go through that. What would your family look like? Is it as big or great? Are you in second tier, grandchildren, great grandchildren, whatever? Or are you just getting started? But what would that family look like if anything were possible? What would be your relationship with your close friends? How much time would you be spending with those people? What kind of clients or partners in your business and or work, lifestyle, vocation, who would you be spending time with? What would the community see from you? And what would you experience with your community? Okay, whether it's a church, whether it's a other kind of group, what would that look like? And then, what are your business operations? What is your network? Again, all of these things are components and experiences that we all seek. What is your work life? Are you working every day? Are you working 4 hours, doing a 4-hour work week? Are you never working because you just love what you're doing and you're like me, you've been retired for many years, and what you do is matching with what I view as retirement is doing what you want, when you want, with who you want, and where you want. And defining that every day doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean playing golf every day because I realized I wasn't going to be on the pro tour. And so you run out of that. So again, if anything were possible, what would that ideal day look like? Where would you be living? What would your home look like? Again, for you, this is your unique vision. If you have a spouse, a business partner, a friend, a coach, I don't care who they are. And I don't care what their vision is of what you would want. This is your vision. If you're I was living in a 7,500 square foot home. And guess what? Once I got the 5 kids moved out, I realized that wasn't what I wanted to be. That wasn't how I would want to spend my ideal day, is taking care of or paying people to take care of a very large piece of property that was kind of away from the heart of the city. So I have my own vision. It's not your vision. Your vision might be to live in a 7,500 square foot home and have all this servants and what. It doesn't matter. The point is, what is that? What does your home look like? Your office workspace, your geography. Where are you on the planet? I'm in Dallas. Is that where you want to live? You want to live, in my case, I want to live in a place where I can easily get to anywhere on the planet because now my kids have gone into different places and I want to be able to get to them. I don't want to be dependent on them coming to me. I want to be able to get to them. Okay, that's my strategy. That's my vision. It may or may not be yours. So anyway, that's the key to that. And then, what kind of environment do you want to be in? The mountains, on the beach, in the city, or all of the above? Do you want to have experiences like travel? All those things. If anything were possible, would you be? And again, I love to travel on my terms. Okay, and that's in my vision catalyst, which I'll share with you as part of the ongoing daily alignment to this vision once you've completed the vision challenge. All right, So that's day 2. And now I'm going to go to day 3. Here's the first opportunity to separate the discovery part to the clarity part. So once you've put in your vision discovery workbook, you've listed all of these possibilities, okay? You've put down all the possibilities in all 6 areas, or 18 areas if you want to break each of the 6 down into the 3. And you look at it and you start to assign some level of emotion. You look at those, and just like in your unique reasons, there's things that you're going to be more emotional about. There's things you wrote down that you thought of, but they really didn't elicit emotion. Emotion I'm going to keep harping on, because that's the thing that's going to be the power behind your vision, is the emotions attached to these things that you put on paper. But if you don't put them on paper, how emotional are you ever going to be, right? If you can't get enough clarity to really triangulate and think about those. So look at each of those areas. Look for trends. Look for things that repeat themselves, because those end up being your highest values. They end up being your highest experiences that you're seeking on your journey to your ideal day. Okay? So day 3, you're going through what you've brainstormed in day 2. Now is the opportunity to begin to get a little clarity and start to think about, in each of these areas, what would be the one thing that kind of resonates with you or excites you the most in each of those areas. And you don't have to have one for every area, because frankly, some of them you might not value that much. Because again, this is your vision challenge. This is your journey that we're working on, not mine, not somebody else's. In fact, the more you think about what would somebody think of me if I shared with this with them, even if it's somebody very important to you or maybe not so important, that doesn't matter. It really is, this is you. Because I'm not trying to motivate you in any way to go on this vision challenge or go on this journey. I want you to be inspired, come from within, intrinsically, to discover your unique reason, now your unique vision, and next we'll talk about your unique value. So that's day 3. We're seeking clarity. Look for trends, highlight in the workbook those things that get you the most excited. If you want to extract them to another sheet and write them down, I don't really care. I'm not really hung up as much on the process, except that this is a process you need to follow in the sequence that we've laid out. And if you trust that process, you will see the results of both your financial, your business, your personal wealth, your personal health, and the personal relationships, which is what we're striving for. Okay? So that's day 3.